Hi guys, Laura here. I am here to wrap up your guys' information all about nutrition. I'm so excited to be with you guys. Meal planning is one of my biggest hacks for thinking about nutrition and making good choices. Because if we don't have a plan, we're just setting ourselves up to fail. One of our websites, a lot of the leaders on the LDC often use, is called Plan to Eat. And it has some pretty amazing statistics. So I'm just going to go through those with you real quick. The average person is able to reduce anxiety about meals by 86%. That mental clutter is just gone if we know what we're going to eat for dinner that night. We don't have to think about it. You can also choose to eat better food. 73% increase the consumption of quote-unquote healthier foods just by planning ahead and prepping their meals. You can also waste less food, spend less money at the grocery store, and spend less time actually thinking about making these meals. So it's kind of amazing that just planning ahead can make such a big difference in our lives. So make the decision to do it. It's totally worth it from a health standpoint, a budget standpoint, and even a mental focus standpoint. Just pick a day when you can spend 15 to 20 minutes to write out your plan and make it. My biggest tips when I think about meal planning is number one, do an inventory. That's the first thing I do when I think about meal planning. I go through and check my garden, and I check my coop, and I check the freezer. I check the cupboards and check what's left over in the fridge. And from there, I can kind of have a baseline of what do we have already that we need to use up. My next step is to get creative when planning. Websites like Plan to Eat, Pinterest, or even the doTERRA blog are great resources to find some interesting and new recipes to try out. Trying something new keeps things fresh for you and your family so that you guys can all try new things and be creative with what goes in your mouth. That way you can make better choices and just overall have a better experience with eating. One of the great things I love to do with my kiddos is that we like to go to the library and check out cookbooks from the library. That way we can get some new fresh recipes in our house and my kids can have an input on it, because if they have an input, they're much more likely to actually follow along and help out with the meal or eat the meal if they know what goes into it and how to do it. This last summer we did a huge thing where they even made a recipe that had pureed mushrooms, olives, and olive oil over pork, and they loved it. So they're always surprised when they try new recipes like that. So go to your local library, check out some books. So first is inventory. Second is actually make that plan. Sit down, come up with your recipes, and make a list of what meals you guys want for that week. The next step is grocery shopping. So I personally love to grocery shop all on one day. Get it over with. My favorite places to shop are Costco, and then we have a local grocer called Hy-Vee. And the reason I love those so much is, one, meats are so much less expensive when you buy them at bulk food stores like Costco or Sam's Club. You can get more for your money. You can get better, organic, grass-fed, all those kind of things there, or bacon without nitrates or anything like that. You can find those things at Costco, and I love that. I also really like Hy-Vee because I can get it delivered on Monday. So I can go through and do my online shopping, and I can not be distracted by other things in the grocery store. I can make better choices. I can put comments about what types of produce I want. Like, I want my bananas real green because we're not going to eat them until Friday, or something like that. Then they will make sure to do that for me, and then I get them delivered on Monday morning. The next step, so we've inventoried, we have planned, and we've shopped. Now we're going to prep. And this is the most tedious thing, because you've just spent an hour or 2 hours grocery shopping. You've already done all this work already. You're like, I just want to kick back. Putting these groceries away is enough of a headache. Prepping is going to be a nightmare. I promise you, it'll make the rest of your week so much easier if you just take 20 minutes to go through and prep your foods. So things I do, I split up my meat that I got from that bulk food store into smaller things so that I can freeze or use what we need to that week. I go through and toss all my fruits and veggies in the sink with a couple drops of citrus oil and a splash of vinegar to wash them all. That way we can just grab them from the fridge and we don't have to worry, Mom, was this washed? I can't remember. Hey, have you washed the oranges yet or the peaches yet? Then we just know everything that's in the fridge is already washed and prepped. My poor kids when they have to do those things on their own and not be reminded someday. But for now, it's really, really handy. And then also we can, if you get really ambitious, brown up that hamburger or prep that chicken, one of the things I like to do, even if I don't do it the same day, is plan for leftovers. When I make something, I might make it twice. So cook a double batch. Like if I'm going to make a huge thing of lasagna, I'm going to make 2 lasagnas because I'm already doing the work, and I'm going to freeze one of them so that next week or 2 weeks from now or a month from now, I already have that lasagna in the freezer. I can just say, hey, hon, I'm not going to be home tonight. Why don't you pull that lasagna out and toss it in the oven? And it's already done. We don't even have to think about dinner. Or we can think ahead of the week and say, oh, you know what? On Friday, we're going to have chili. Why don't I throw everything into a Ziploc so we can just put it in the crock pot and it'll be ready when we get home from our sports practice or whatever it is that day. Because we know that life happens. We know that the nights get crazy. And these types of planning ahead keep us from making poor nutrition decisions. So other tips that make it easier is definitely when you're prepping, have your diffuser going. Oftentimes when we're cooking, the smell that lingers in the kitchen is not a pleasant one. So get that diffuser going, get some Motivate in there, get some Citrus Bliss in there, anything to kind of energize you, keep the kitchen smelling fresh, and to keep you going for the night. Whatever you decide for your meal plans, make it fun and get the family involved. Things like meatless Mondays or incorporating fish on the weekends or knowing that dad's going to be home early and you guys want to grill with him. Things like that can be a lot of fun. So be sure you're mixing it up, have fun, and don't forget to eat up all those leftovers so you're not being wasteful. Hope you guys had fun learning with us. Let me know if you have questions. Have a great night.